On a beautiful summer day 3 years ago, I decided to stop at the Town Hill Market to pick up snacks for my children. I got back to the car, turned on the key, but the engine wouldn't start. After several failed attempts, it dawned on me that I had neglected to fill up my tank with gas. The only other person I felt comfortable calling was my husband, who was out of the country at the time. Ironically, he is out of the country today. And I was scared. I had 20 minutes left and a 15-minute ride to them before school closed for the day. In my moment of panic, I was overcome by my deepest sense of insecurity. All the fears that I had prior to moving to Mount Desert Island, that included the color of my skin and my accent, all came flooding back like the sea after a heavy storm, and I just sat there. The thought of my children stranded jolted me back to reality and gave me the courage to walk back into the store and explain my predicament to the owner, who, without question or doubt, grabbed a set of keys and said, "Here, take my van. Go pick up your kids." As I drove away, still in shock at her random and timely act of kindness, my heart was filled with all kinds of emotions ranging from surprise to deep gratitude. My good Samaritan had seen me as another mom in crisis and not in the way that I'd feared she would. When we moved to Maine 5 years ago, my conversations with many began with, "How did you end up here?" I often struggle to come up with a single-line response because, you see, in the culture that I grew up in, there are no single-line responses to such questions. It would sound something like this. I am Kemunto, daughter of Mariaria Ongeri of the Boguche clan. I belong to the Kisi tribe. My people happen to have the most fertile land and women in the country. My name bears the truth of a complicated past that proudly presents me with a deep sense of cultural identity. My name connects me to a land of beautiful human beings, a land of diverse landscape that includes a spectacular coral reef that is home to some of the best marine life in the world, and amazing wildlife that call one of the 8 wonders of the world home. Wahenga walisema, mkosa mila ni mtumwa. He who has no tribe is a slave unto himself. So, by my main introduction, one can tell my gender, my tribe, and my ancestral land. My choice to come to the United States began as an academic journey for me. I came armed with my childhood experiences and a deep sense of cultural identity far removed from what I was just about to experience. I was completely unaware of how this country was going to challenge me and transform me. I grossly underestimated the culture shock and quickly realized that my survival was hinged on allowing my mind and soul to being transformed. In essence, I was forming a new identity within my new tribe, in a new world, conceived in the space between my 2 existing worlds. And while forming this new identity, I also realized that I would have to constantly navigate between those 2 worlds. The challenge was how to do so without losing my sense of being and belonging. My response, naturally, was to find avenues that kept the warm, familiar way of life alive for me, like tending to my garden, making a Maasai snow woman with my kids, and speaking Swahili to them, especially when I'm mad with them. I also realized that I would have to make compromises, such as having chowder for dinner as opposed to ugali and sukuma wiki, and accepting pumpkins as Halloween decorations as opposed to food. But really, the real gift are my children. Not only are they my heartbeat, but they are the unintended but completely welcomed byproduct of my 2 worlds colliding. They are my guardian angels and a reminder that every time my 2 worlds collide, love prevails. My introduction to the Mount Desert Island community was a camping trip at Blackwoods and a teaching opportunity at the College of the Atlantic. Anyone in the house? I always joke, if you cut my blood, you find two things, Kenya and COA. Both experiences confirmed to me that Mount Desert Island was as unique as it was similar to my home back in Kenya. The sound of birds in the morning, the stars at night, and the tight-knit community. The warm embrace of my uniqueness and my ideas sealed the decision for us to move here. Now, as warm and fuzzy as my welcome was, my life as a diverse person on this island has not been devoid of challenges. I go through a daily struggle of navigation that begins with my spoken word and ends with the indifferent treatment in the summer. In the space between my two worlds is a world that is evolving. I am constantly fed by my past and challenged by my present. The key is staying true to who I am while allowing the natural evolution of who I become. There's a common myth I'd like to share. It's about the ego. The ego has the longest lifespan of its species, 70 years. In order to reach this age, the ego must make a very difficult decision. By the age of 40, its long, sharp beak becomes bent, its talons can no longer grab prey which serve as food, and its old, heavy wings stick to its chest, making it difficult to fly. Then the ego is left with two choices: to die or to undergo a painful process of change that involves knocking out its beak and pulling off its wings and talons. This process lasts about 5 months. When completed, then the ego takes its famous flight of rebirth and lives for 30 more years. Now, while my hope is to live for longer than 70, as I approach 40, I am reminded of how critical it is to accept and undergo change in order to live a full life. I will let you in on a secret. When I was a little girl, I was scared of white people. In fact, I used to run away from them. So scared that I'm now married to one. And I live here. There's a reason why this is still the whitest state in America. Our governor's remarks certainly don't help. But the worst damage is inflicted by us, by our perceptions and our inability to create opportunities for newcomers in our society. The deepest sense of belonging comes with the most intimate level of acceptance. The major differences between my two worlds are the levels of acceptance and connectivity. Each of you can own a piece of my success, intended or unintended, by your acceptance and equally by your rejection, because both motivate me. The major differences between my two worlds are the levels of acceptance and connectivity, just as I just stated. Newcomers in Kenya are viewed as bearers of blessings and hope, and they are allowed to join in all celebrations without reservations. Every newcomer in our society adds to the beauty, the color, and the strength of the fabric of our society. My ultimate goal is to connect my two worlds in a positive way. I have had an amazing life, given my background. I am deeply grateful for the numerous opportunities that I continue to have to serve and be a leader in my community. But the thing that I value most are relationships, because at the end of life, that's all that counts. Thank you.